All right, now we live. Hello, beautiful ladies. How are you this morning? How are you this morning? Well, I guess it's afternoon. It's 12. So, yesterday a little reminder on Facebook popped, and the reminder is sad, and I'm gonna read it to you as well. I'm gonna read it to you because it was very strange to have that little reminder for myself. The reminder said, many things I do in my everyday life, I do it for my husband because I love him and I hate to betray his expectations. That would not be the dynamic today. And I know that this came from a woman who was not so much confident in herself, but from also a woman who was guilty, feeling non-sufficient for just existing. Let me clarify a little bit. This is such a heavy subject, and I only have 10 minutes before I need to go. But we'll try. Before, I felt that I was not living up to my full potential. And I felt so guilty for not living up to my full potential. I knew there was so much that I am meant for. I knew I could do so much. I knew life is meant for so much more, but I was stuck in this circle of plain and average and soul-sucking job, and that was my life. And when I was so lost at what to do about it. I had no idea where to go, how to fix it. I felt very stuck in the never-ending cycle. And if you followed me, you know my story. There was divine intervention in the form of me losing my own child that has shaken my entire world, and therefore I didn't have good pictures. I went on a path of a photographer. I have shared all of that with you in my previous live videos. I felt guilty. I felt I was self-judging, and I had so much shame for not being able to live in my full force, in my full potential that I knew I came here for. And we were very frugal, and there's a lot of shame around being poor and not earning enough money, and there's all that trauma. And I even still, 11 years later, I still am recovering from that trauma. Of having to being able to select between different options, where now, why can't I have both options at the same time, right? And my husband has been my angel from the beginning. Even when I met him, I questioned, how did I get so lucky? How do I deserve a man who's doing everything for me? How did I get so lucky? Because before that, I was treated by males in a very objectifying way, in a way where they wanted to have sex with me, and that's all they wanted. Nobody could see me for the soul and the human being that I was. Men used to see me only for my body. And when I am being seen for my body only, there's this emptiness within. And so when I met my husband, he he was not divinely inclined, so I did not meet my divine spiritual partner because he had no interest in learning any of that. He still doesn't really care. So I had to find my own way because I'm very philosophical and I'm very spiritual. And actually, that works in that sense where, you know, the two opposites attract, right? But I was able to be seen and respected and honored for being a human being, right? And in the beginning of the relationship, I always questioned, why did I deserve this? How did I get so lucky? How was he so different? I never experienced this passionate flow of vortex of passion for my husband. It's always been very stable, very steady, but very deep soul connection, as if we've been there before, as if we have lived many lifetimes before, which we have. Later on, I've done past life regressions where I have discovered, I also have discovered that he was killed very early, and I have lost him. And that's why in the beginning of my relationship, I have woken up with this cold sweat and terrifying fear that something's going to happen to him. He's going to get into a car accident. Something's going to happen to him. Now that we have been together for over 14 years, we're still together. My fear of that subsided. I have healed that past life trauma of where I lost him, and we are doing this again. We are doing this over, and we are, now it's different. Now it's safe. Now we can truly connect on that soul level. And he was very supportive of me doing anything from the very beginning. He was very supportive. He always told me how beautiful I was. He was the one who was buying me all sorts of sex toys to experiment with. It was not me who started, like that. He wanted me to be happy on so many different levels, and he did everything for me. Everything, on every single level. Even taking care of the house, being, washing the dishes, doing the laundry. He is still now taking that charge and responsibility for being that supporter in the material world for me, where I am nurtured to go and do other things, big things that I'm meant for. So it is almost, we had this arrangement before we agreed to meet here on earth, as he is my supporter in the real life, where I am meant to go and fulfill my bigger purpose. However, I couldn't, for the longest time, for probably 10 years that we've been together, I could not fulfill that role. I was stuck in this soul-sucking job, and I knew there's bigger purpose, bigger message, everything. And I felt so much guilt and so much shame for not being able to fulfill my part of the deal. He's there supporting, he's supporting me financially. We are barely scraping by for a family of 2 and then 3 later on. But we were making it, right? And I, oh my God, I'm just about to go crying. I've been trying to get my business off the ground for years, and it wouldn't. And I did everything, and I couldn't understand why it's not picking up. And that is when he was there for me. He was supporting me through all of these struggles, through all of these trials and tribulations, from all that time that I couldn't make, that I had no jobs, that I couldn't bring my own part of the deal on the financial side of things, where I was given this freedom. Go figure out how to do your business. It's okay for you to not go to work. Go figure out how to do business. It took me 3 years from that point to not have a job, to figure out how to do my business and actually start making little money with it. It was such a hard journey, girls. It's traumatizing, but I did it. I did it, and we're growing, and that's wonderful. But I'll never forget. I will never forget what it took. We'll never forget what it took. And that is where the trauma comes from. And that is where this saying that popped into my memory comes from. Many things I do in my everyday life, I do it for my husband because I love him and I hate to betray his expectations. That is me feeling so guilty and so shameful for not being able to bring my side of a story. And I've been feeling so guilty for the longest time until 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I still had so much guilt and so much shame that I was not standing up to my side of the deal, for not being able to be successful, for not being able to make the money and put into my contribution into my family, that I had so much guilt and shame and trauma from it. And I've carried that trauma for 10 years. Being very thankful for my husband to be supporting me, but me not being able to step into my full power. And 2 years ago, I went to see, she is a therapist, but that is not why I went to see her. I went to see her because I was interested in doing and learning about tapping. And if you didn't know about tapping, it is the most powerful tool that you can use to really get into your subconscious and release your anxiety. And when I did tapping, that all flowed out to the surface. It's been sitting and eating me up alive, and it flowed out to the surface, and I was able to finally release that and give myself permission to be successful. Now I am making more money than my husband, and I am finally supporting my family on ways that I could only dream, and back in the days I didn't even know that were possible for me. Now everything came full circle. Now I feel so free, relieved, and independent to follow my path, follow my purpose, because I am financially independent and I don't need my husband to support me anymore. And that is why I am such a strong advocate for women getting into their power, which includes financial independence. It includes financial independence because if you are financially dependent on someone, you cannot step into your power. You cannot step into your power. That is really the ultimate freedom. That money gives you choices. Money gives you ability to decide. Money gives you relief to know that you're supporting yourself and your family. You cannot rely on another human being. I am a big advocate of women starting businesses, making their own money, starting being independent financially, because that is almost a prerequisite of being independent in life altogether. They're going back to back together. You cannot be independent if you are dependent on your husband financially. I am such a huge advocate for it. It's been my journey. You see how emotional I am about this because I'm still going on this journey and I'm following this guidance and the teachings and the mentors and the coaches that I'm hiring. I am still on that journey, but I have gone such a long way. Such a long way. You cannot be independent unless you are financially independent. And that is why that message came up 11 years ago in my memories. Many things I do in my everyday life, I do it for my husband because I love him and I hate to betray his expectations. I no longer need to prove myself to my husband because I have proven to myself that I can be and do and have anything I ever want, right? I don't need anyone's validation. I don't need to level up to the service of my husband anymore. And now we're equal. And now new doors opening up for me. And now new opportunities coming up for me. That is why I am sharing this message with you, because it is such an important part of becoming free and authentic. Because if you are not free in life, if you are financially dependent on another human being, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever that is, whether it's a male or female, you will not be able to step into your authenticity, because the power dynamic is that you will always be controlled by another person, because it is always about the balancing. They're giving you the money, you're giving them something else. So stop that dynamic, period. Being financially independent is number one thing you gotta do in order to step into your power. I have gone through all lessons related to business. I can tell you and teach you my knowledge. Absolutely. Through Love Goddess program, absolutely. And it is a huge part of Love Goddess program. It is your job, like in life, to become independent and to become financially independent. So you can truly lead from that form of, I am here to follow my truth, follow my message, and lead other women by my own example. So that is what that was about. That is what that was about. Past dynamic, inequality. Now dynamic, equality in different way. Equality in... it's not like 50-50. You do 50 of the kids and I'll do 50. Like, no, that kills the relationship, kills passion. You want to keep that feminine, masculine polarity going. Otherwise, it's going to kill your relationship. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the money dynamic, because that will give you freedom to stand up for yourself and tell him, nope, this is my opinion and I'm doing things my way, right? And that is stepping up to your values, to your truths, and you are not being manipulated into doing something else. So that is my message for you today. And I'm going on my time limit here. So thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see. I'm seeing that we have a comment. And I'll address that in a second. I'm going to go ahead and message Cindy below that comment. And for you, my loves, who are tuning in on this conversation about financial independence and power dynamic in the relationship, that is extremely important. I want to leave you with this one thought. You may not know the way right now, but if you open yourself up to a possibility that bigger and better is available for you, instead of limiting yourself with this one thought that no, you are at your limit and there is nothing better. If you just start being open, the path will be shown, the mentor will appear, and you will be led towards that desire of yours. But if you are stuck in your closeness and in your limitations and telling yourself that more money, more freedom, better life is not available for you, then it's not gonna be. And it is very, very, very important for you to start believing Start believing that there are better things that are available to you and your family. And with that, my gorgeous ladies, I'm gonna let you go. I hope you have a beautiful day today, and I will talk to you later. Mwah. Love y'all.